All right, so now that the rifle itself is pretty much done, we can think about the magazine and the suppressor. Now, if I bring up the UV editor, you'll see that the magazine and the suppressor are both in the 0 to 1 square. So this isn't, we're not using UDIMs like before. But I do want to bring them both into substance at the same time without having to deal with the overlapping UVs. So the way that I'm going to do that is, let me just isolate these. I'm going to apply just some new, let's go with a new Lambert on that guy. And we'll call this, we'll go into the shading group. The name of the Lambert doesn't matter. What matters is the name of the shading group. And we'll call this, just call it mag for magazine. Okay. Maybe I'll just give it a, make it red. Doesn't really matter. Same thing with a suppressor. Assign a favorite, Lambert. Maybe make this one green, right? And then go up here to the shading group and call this suppressor. Actually, that's, I already have that, so let's call it silencer instead. Otherwise, I'm going to get a name clash here. So silencer and suppressor. Then we can take them both and we can export them as an OBJ. I like to use OBJs. And I'm just going to name it just call it mag, whatever. Make it easy and short. And what do we want here? Materials. You want to make sure materials is on. Everything else is fine at default. Mag. So let's go back to substance. And I believe I saved. So we want to go to new. And we want to go select. There's mag. 2048. OpenGL. We do not need create a texture set per UDIM tile because we do not have UDIMs. And I think that's about it. PBR metallic roughness. And hit OK. And just give it a second here. And there we go. So you can see that they're both in there. I'm going to hit tab to get out of full screen. You see now I have a mag and a silencer. It's taking the names of those shading groups and using those as the names of the texture sets. So I can turn one off just like that. Okay, so quick, easy way to do that. So I guess we can start with the suppressor. So this, I mean, this should be pretty straightforward. It's just all metal. The little latch here might be a slightly different metal than the rest of it, but I think otherwise, I mean, I've never had one in my hand, so I can't be sure, but I think, let's see, this is a Surefire suppressor. So something like this. There's a little bit of text. Now this might not be the exact one I did. That one is probably this guy here. So I'm gonna look, I'm gonna look into whatever that text there says. Now these ones look brand new. I don't know if we're gonna be able to find one that's been used quite a bit, but I like this text here. It's just indented into the surface. Let's see if there's anyone with a well-used one. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can damage it ourselves. I think it's pretty straightforward. Oh, and that's my phone. Sorry about that. Anyway, here's a picture of a suppressor right here. That's had quite a bit of use. You can see it's sort of changing color a little bit, probably from all the heat. I guess down here is what they call a blast chamber on the inside. So probably most of the heat is here. So it's discoloring the suppressor here, but there's also a little bit going on over there. So that's a nice image to look at there. Can't seem to find any other well-used ones. And I noticed a little bit of metal scraping here. right? So because the suppressor is at the front of the rifle, it's makes sense that you'd have a lot of bumping into things. It's gonna scrape away at it. So yeah, I mean, we'll just wait a minute. No, that's not it. We'll just work with that and see what we can come up with. So I'm going to keep this image here to refer to. All right. Now, I think I want to go with a black suppressor, maybe. I almost wish the gun was in here just so that I could see it, but no biggie. The way Substance is, it's very easy to just change the underlying color. So let's start with, all right, so we're in let's go in the silencer. Here, get rid of the default, make a new fill layer. Oh, actually, again, I almost forgot. We got to bake our maps. So let's go to bake maps here. Let's go. Let's see. Do I want them 4K? Do I want them 2K? I'm gonna go 4K. If that ends up being too heavy and I'm not benefiting from it, I can always size them down. But I can't size things up once they're a certain resolution. I'm going to turn off ID because I don't need that. And I'm going to bake all texture sets. And this should be relatively quickly. There's only 2 of them. That step is one I always forget. Every time I start to work and I'm like, wait a minute, did I bake? But you'll know, because once you start trying to detail stuff, it's not going to go on there right, and you're going to wonder why. It's because you didn't bake your maps. So always got to make sure that we do that. Oh, there's a nice gradient there. That might actually help us later. So 50%. Now we're doing the magazine. Now notice I did not model the inside of the magazine here or put any rounds in there, just because for what I'm using this for, I'm not ejecting the magazine where you could see that. So I don't want to waste the time doing it. It's something that I could always add in later too. So we'll go with it as is. There we go, 100%. So everything's now baked. So now we have a fill layer here, and I want it to be, a dark color. Again, don't go all the way to black. That never looks right if it's all the way black like that. I'm just going to call this base metal. And because it is metal, I'm going to turn metallic all the way to 1. And now it looks too black, so I might actually bring it up just a hair. Okay, so that's our base metal. Actually, that's not our base metal. We'll call this base metal or base color, because I'm going to use my steel as a base metal. So let's, what am I looking for here? Materials. And, you could try all these other metals. Let's try titanium. I'm feeling it's going to be too bright, but let's see what that does. So that's titanium. I don't feel like that would be under there, so I don't think that's going to work. Same with like nickel. That's just too bright of a metal. Whereas the steel rough, I mean, it just starts out, it's already sort of scratched up and what have you. And that actually comes through. You can see the detail there. It actually comes through a little bit. The normal detail comes through. So that's why I like to use it. I mean, it works. So our base color, I'm going to go, let's put a white mask, put a generator, and then we can start with the metal edge wear. And yeah, no matter whether I start with a white mask or a black mask, it always needs to be inverted. Okay, so now we have some wear that's obviously way too much. I'm going to drop my curvature weight, my wear level. And what I want to do is random seed. Just keep knocking this around here until I get something nice. The other thing I might do is increase our grunge scale. And again, I'm just going to drop this curvature weight just so we don't have so much of that. And okay, now we're getting repeating. So I guess I went the wrong way with the scale. I want to make the number smaller. That makes the scale, makes the map a little bit bigger. And that's a little too much grunge, so I'm going to just do that. Let's random seed that again. And let's play with the roughness on this metal. Let's tone it down a little bit. I don't imagine the suppressor would be very shiny, because if you're in some kind of military operations, I would imagine you don't want the light gleaming off your suppressor when you're trying to be hidden or whatever. So I don't imagine that would be so so shiny. So let's, okay. Okay, off to a good start here. One thing I want to do is I want to separate the latch here and maybe this screw from this group. So I'm just going to take both of these and hit Control G to group them into a folder. And we'll just call this black metal. And then I'm going to mask this. So put a black mask on it. Or actually, no, make it a white mask, just so that everything stays. And I'm just going to exclude this. So hit 4, switch to mesh fill, and we want this to be at 0. So I'm going to hit X, and I want to select this. And this is actually part of the other mesh. So what I could do is do a UV chunk fill. And I think, gotta be careful. I might have to go into here. Make sure I get this whole thing. Yep. Where is that little screw? I think it's this one. There it is. And we want this one too, which I believe is that one. And I think that's it. Okay, so now we have, so let's get out of the mask here. Now we have this separated. And let's make a new folder. This is the, I don't know, we'll call this, I think there's, let's have a look here and see what color. Slightly different, aren't they? Yeah, it's a little sort of aluminum looking. I guess it depends. Some of them aren't. So I don't know. This one looks like it's painted, so that's all the same. This, you can see this one's black. So, you know, we'll take some liberties here and make it whatever we want, just to I like the contrast, differentiating between them. So yeah, let's do that. So what do I want here? All right, let's put this aluminum in there. And again, we want on the folder, we want a black mask. And we want to make sure this is at 1. We want to select both of these. Oops. Now we're upside down. There we go. And this guy. Okay, now obviously that's just kind of ridiculous how shiny that is. So I'm going to beat it down a little bit. Right here. So we'll keep some height on there and normal. Did I not have that on? Yeah, we're good there. So in the aluminum, I want, let's pump the roughness. Let's make this a little darker. Something like that. Let's push the roughness a little bit more. And you will notice that there's actually the word push on there, so we're going to have to imprint that. I mean, hopefully you can see it's not a very big, even if this is a 4K map, that's a really tiny piece there, but we'll see what we can do. What am I doing here? Okay, and I got to clean up. There's some seams going on here. Let me see if triplanar projection didn't do a damn thing. Okay, so we'll clean those up later. Okay, let me bring this down even more. Let's just darken the value here, just so it's slightly different. Metallic is 1, yes. Okay. Now, let me look in the smart masks, see what our stain scratches will do to that. Go in the mask editor, invert. So now that's getting nicely beat up there. Let's multiply this over and drop the curvature. Decrease texture 2. Let's random seed a little bit. Just hit this button a few times. Oh, I like that last one. Okay. And I want to try something different here. Let's put a little bit of rust spots on there. I don't know if suppressors rust. Probably do, right? I don't want to go crazy with it though, but let's see what we can do. What am I looking for? Materials. I'm going to use the rust fine. Put that at the top of the black metal stack here. Put a black mask. Put a generator, and then put dripping rust. Now this is obviously out of control here, so let's drop this way down here. We want subtlety, and this is kind of insane. So it looks like there's a point where it's either on or off. Let's drop the contrast. Yeah, it's not doing a whole hell of a lot. Drop the intensity. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm not liking that so much. Let's randomize. Yeah, this thing is very sensitive. See, at 0.01, there's like nothing. Let's go to 0.02. There's a little bit, but still way more than I want. So, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to get rid of this. Never mind. Thought it'd be something interesting, but nope. All right. So it's all scratched up. Still maybe a little much. Let's drop the global balance. Okay. And let me get my pen here. Let's put a paint layer on there. Hit 1 to get out of that mode. And our alpha hardness, I'm going to set it to, well, maybe like 0.85 or something. And let's see. See, that's way too strong there. Let's drop our flow way down. And our stroke opacity. Maybe increase the flow. I don't know. Those don't look like legit scratches. 0.05 as brush size. See, this is hard to do. Okay, here, let me just do it this way. Do we have any scratches in the alphas? We got some scratches here. Those kind of look fake too. Let's use the sharp line and see what we get. Yeah, it's there, but it's not. Let's turn up the stroke opacity. See, those kind of look better just because they're so thin. I don't know. This might be not worth the hassle. I mean, it's kind of boring, but let's here. Let me get a different brush, and let's paint dirt too. Let's try and clean up some of these seams here. Invert my brush. Nope. Invert it again. Just want to paint. So I'm going to turn my flow on here. Just want to paint over these seams because there's a very straight line there. And that's just a UV seam. Doesn't look like. Here, let's try UV. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So I'm just, where the seam is, I just want to fill it back in just so we don't have that sharp cut off there. Okay. And I want to invert this. And I don't mind taking off. Oops, I want to do it on the inside of the suppressor. I don't mind taking off quite a bit of this. If the bullets are coming out here, there's a lot of pressure against that opening. So I don't mind that getting completely stripped. And again, just need to clean this up because this is not looking good there. You can see some of that detail just stops abruptly at that line. Just put back some of this. Okay. Okay. And then on top of our base color, I'm going to make another fill layer. This is our carbon. If I know how to spell it. And again, we want it really kind of dark, non-metallic, and really push our roughness pretty high. Don't think I need any height. And we're going to put a black mask on there. And then we're going to start to paint over here. Why is it all weird? Maybe let's make this even darker. Oh, this is still quite a bit lighter. Anyway, might be the lighting because it's not metallic. So there would obviously be a lot of that here. I think I need a softer brush. That's nope. Let's try this one. There we go. That's pretty soft. It's kind of a pain in the butt to navigate around the scene with a tablet pen, but it works. Okay, so I'm just going to file up the front of the suppressor, making sure I'm not getting every single square inch of it. I want some of that metal to show through. I'm going to hit C and want our roughness. So you can see this is really rough. This carbon area is a lot rougher than the rest of the suppressor, which is what we want because the light is going to react to that. And I just hit C a couple times to get there and then M to get back. You know, I think I want to make this locking ring here a different material. You can see they do tend to be different materials. I just want to make this a little bit more. You see how this is different there. Just want to make it a little bit more interesting. Right now it's kind of boring. So let's exclude this from the black metal here. So let's hit 4, and mesh. Going to hit X to go to 0, and then let's get rid of this. Okay. And this one here was the, I don't know what you call this, the latch, I think. Yes. So I'm going to make a new folder, and we'll call this one locking ring. I have no idea what this thing is called, so I'm just going to call it locking ring. And for this one, I'm just going to use go to materials, and I'm just going to use the old steel rust, rust and wear. Let's put that in that folder, put a black mask on the folder, and select this. And there we go. Yeah. And we're saving. So I've got three different metals there. The main metal in the front of the suppressor, the rusty steel back here, and then that aluminum that we altered a little bit. Okay. Now the inside of here just needs to have the, in fact, what I'm going to do, I think what I should have done, under the black metal, I'm going to take my carbon and just put it outside of everything so that it's on top of everything. And I'm just going to get rid of the mask. Remove mask. Or actually, no, not get rid of the mask. Let's, yeah, so we can just keep painting on there to get the carbon on there. So yeah, keep the mask, don't remove it. Because the inside of this suppressor would be just completely covered in carbon. So let's, where is that? Where am I here? Is this? Yes. So we're going to cover this. And where is the, oops. Where is the inside of our suppressor? Trying to see which one that is. Here it is. This would be covered in carbon. And then we have this guy here. Okay. And we can have some of that spill over here. I don't know if suppressors are supposed to do that, but. So again, the locking ring. We want to mask that a little bit. So again, I'm just going to get my steel and pull, let's see where we put that underneath here. Put a mask on this guy. And generator, metal edge wear, invert. Drop the wear level a little bit. Drop the curvature weight. And then also maybe just make this a little less gray. So you can see that we have just the properties of them. Even though they're both black, the properties are a little bit different. Maybe I should have brought this in smooth, but we'll see. And my carbon, I think part of the reason that the carbon is that, let's see, if we, yeah, no. Might have to just go all the way to black here. Still looking very gray, but I think it's better. And I will get the text once I figure out what the suppressors say. So for right now, I'm going to leave this as is, and I'm going to just to get going on the magazine. I'm going to save quick. Oh, and I totally didn't save here, so we're going to call this mag. And this should be a much smaller file that shouldn't take very long to save. Let me see how big that file is. Oh, about a gig. So about a gig. Which, given how big some of the other files have been, that's not bad. Okay, so we'll let that sit. We'll marinate on that, see how we like it, and go back as needed. I might spray paint it with some color just to do it, but we'll see. All right, let's go. So we're in the mag texture set now. I'm going to get rid of our default layer. And this is a plastic. It's a little, so it's a polymer. So it's probably going to have a little bit of grain to it. So I'm going to use the plastic grainy as our starting point. And obviously our grains are way too big. And actually what I might do, do we need height? Oh, it's sort of built in. So let's tile this. It's hard to see there, but you can see that there's still some texture there. And then height position. Is that how we... Okay, that didn't do anything. Oops. I don't know. What about 20 or 15? So there's still some texture there. Now, what color do we want this magazine to be? We could use the tan. So what was it? 11, 30. Oops. Oh no, what happened? Okay, now my color is weird. All right, let's undo that. Okay, so I broke something. I'm just going to delete this and make it again. It won't let me change the color. So what do we say? 15 on the tiling. Change the color to 11. 30. You can sort of see that at the bottom right corner. 40. Okay. Let me just adjust your screen here so you can see more down the bottom. There we go. So we're gonna we can do a tan magazine. Nice thing about this, we can have 2 folders or multiple folders, one for each color, so that if we need multiple magazines or whatever, we can output multiple textures. But for this guy, just to go with that theme, with all the tan, we can make it this color. And just so that it's all not perfectly matching, we're going to just offset it a little bit. Okay, so we do have a little bit there. So let's look at third generation magazine. So, I mean, you can see that this tan is actually a lot browner. So let's, I don't know, let's go on more to the yellow. No. Sometimes undo jumps a few steps. So what's it? Control Y is the, okay. So let's just bring it back a little bit here. Whatever, we'll go with this. And the nice thing is we can always come back and change it later. What was I going to do here? So you can see some of the details on here. We have this 556 by 45. We got these, I don't know what you call these marks here. And I don't know. We got more stuff on the other side. So yeah, I'm going to go through and try to figure out what all that stuff is and make the alphas for them. Again, just the same way that I've been doing with the rest of the rifle. I'm going to make a bunch of alphas. Some of these sort of horizontal lines here we could probably put in there. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per segment, looks like. I'll do that. So 5 here, 5, 5. And how many were down here? Is that 4? It's kind of hard to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this 5, 5, 5. So let's go ahead and I think there should be an alpha for that. You know, I'm going to put all this in a folder. Just that way it's all collected. So we'll call this FDE mag. And then we can have a folder for whatever other colors that we want. Okay, so for the details here, what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna connect these to the actual color of the magazine. I'm gonna put them on their own layer so that I can just copy them over to a different one if I want. So I'm gonna take this standard layer and just bring it in here, put it in the folder at the bottom of the stack here, and we'll call this detail. So this is just going to be the bump or normal details. So I'm going to take off color. We need height. I don't think we need roughness, and we don't need metallic. So this is all just the bump details or the normal map details. So because there's distortion in our lines here, actually along the spine here, it's not actually, it's over here. This is not bad. This is pretty straight. So we might be able to use this here. So let's go in the alphas. I think there's a, I think there's some horizontal lines in here somewhere. There they are. So if let's increase our height. There we go. So we just need to size them up. Now they're very square, but so here's our alpha. So drop the line width. How wide do we want this? Goes most of the way across there. Something like that. We want a total of 5 lines. So let's go down to quantity. And that's 5 lines right there. And we want it to be pretty tall in here. So, and then drop the width. I'm just holding on Control and Shift. Actually, yeah, make sure there's no jitters on there. And set our spacing to 1. Let's undo that. Oh, you know what? My bump map is backwards. Or my, I think they're going into the surface instead of... oh, actually, no, they are coming out. Never mind. So let's do this. Click there, hold on Shift and Control, and click there. Yeah, I see it's okay. We're not going to be able to use the control trick here, so this is too wide still. So again, if this is not quite working for you, then you can always go in Photoshop and make your own lines. These do seem a little on the thick side, but I'm going to make them work. Okay. They let you adjust the width of the line and then also the quantity of the lines, but they don't let you shrink down the lines individually. So unless there's another way, I don't know. Well, let's see. Shape capsule. So the hardness here, let's Control and I'll hold down Shift. Oh, I guess that Shift doesn't work. Let's just make it 90. Make it smaller. Yeah, so here it's just the length as well. So even if we did use this, we'd have to have some spacing. Which one of those do I like better? These are very, I mean, they're both very thick. So, I don't know. I guess it just depends on how accurate you need to be. Let me see here. Okay, let's undo all these guys here. Let's go back to this. If I take the quantity down, do I get one line? Yep. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to zero this back out so it's flat. Now this spacing is going to play a big part in this, but let's get the width. So you can see how it's much thinner. But I need the spacing to be such that if I click here, hold down Control and Shift, and maybe click here, I get a total of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. See, these are a little bit thinner. Let's go a little bit higher as a starting point. See, it's not quite going as high as I want. So I may have to, well, let's... Okay, guess that'll work. I'm going to center this a little bit better. Okay. I think that's better. Now again, you know, with these maps, you can see how it does look kind of fake there. But I can always use a displacement map if I need to get up close. And so I'm at a 0.12 in height, which should be more than enough, honestly. And then the lowest section here, which is where? Where did I put that? Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is upside down. I'm like, what is going on here? Okay, so I totally had this upside down. And hopefully, yep, we only got 4 there, so that's perfect. Okay. Save quick. And while that's saving, look at what else we got here. See what else we can do in Substance that I don't need to go into Photoshop for. Oops. Okay, we got this little grid of boxes. 3 by 5 times 4. That's going to be interesting. Okay, let's see. I'm going to hit F6. Now, problem is everything is at an angle. But I think these lines here might do the trick. Let's go to point or negative. These go inward. So negative 0.2. Let's just see what that looks like. Okay. So I think what I can do here, and this is going to be a pain in the butt, but what happens if I... So if I make these really narrow, get them real narrow to where they're squares. Something like that, almost there. There. And what did I say? 3. So if I did this, so again, I gotta adjust that spacing. Okay, so that actually works pretty well. Now, the trick, of course, is getting this to line up and be straight along this line here. So we need 4 of those groups along the inside of there. So if I turn on my symmetry, and again, I don't know where I messed up in Maya that this is not centered. I mean, it should be. Let me go on my grid here. I mean, yeah, you can see the rifle is centered, so I don't know why Substance is reading that as not centered. You see the magazine right there is centered to my grid. So I'm not really sure. Well, let's check. Yeah, it's at 0, but it's obviously not correct. So I'm not sure what that is, but we can fix it. I turn on the wireframe, go into the mirror options here, and oops. This is sensitive. Okay, 0.02. Oh, let's go the other way. Negative, or just 0.01. And then, wait, is this? Yeah, it's going the wrong way. How about 0.005? Wow, that's... So we're just going to keep getting smaller. Okay, so at 0, no, let me just start over here. So at 0, we're there. So we want to go in the, what direction is that? The positive X. Nope, we want to go in the negative X. So, there we go. Almost perfect. So 5.5, 5.25, 5.2. How about 5.15? That's about as good as it's going to get. So let's call that good. That's really annoying, but it is what it is. Again, I'm not sure why that is. I know I was centered, but Substance is not reading it that way. So what I'm going to do here is rotate my UV layout here so that this section here is kind of flat. Now you can see it sort of increases in size as it gets here. That's just the way the UVs are. So let's just do a test here. See how they're angled weird? Let me turn off my wireframe here. Yeah, this is going to be annoying. This would have worked if this was aligned better, but just the unfold of this magazine, obviously nothing's perfectly straight, which is kind of to be expected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and in Photoshop, I'll just literally make these, and then I will bring them in and just do it as an alpha. That way I have a lot of control over where it goes. I'll do it as a stencil, I guess. Because yeah, this way is just not going to work. It's just, there's just not, even if I do say that, you can see it's just not right. So I'll just do it in Photoshop. Okay, so there's numbers over here. And I think I might actually go back and re-export this magazine all smoothed out, because right now everything is really hard. I need those curves there. So video is running about an hour. So I will cut it off here and we'll continue in the next one. All right, I'll have all those alphas done. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I gotta find close-ups. Well, actually, this is a pretty big image. Let's go ahead and actually not the link. I want the image. Open image in new tab. Yeah, it's not telling us much. Here, let me filter these down. I want the large size ones. So there you can see it's the caliber. There's a 22 in there now, and it looks like a 2 right there, and then something there, which I'll look into. And then this is the other side. This is a slightly bigger image. Let's see if we can see better. There we go. So PMAC 30, AR, M4, Magpul Industries, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this stuff I can reproduce pretty easily. And then all this. So yeah, this should be easy enough. Okay, so I will get to making those decals, and then we can come stamp them on in the next video. All right, guys, so hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.